This is the Risky Roads podcast with the first live intro in front of a guest audience of one. Today we will be talking about Oklahoma State and our big win in the Stanford Pentagon, and then we will be getting out our Santa hats for a Christmas edition of the Risky Roads pod with lumps of coal and presents from each player this season. Should be an exciting episode. Remember, don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Risky Roads Pod, and to leave us a 5-star review with an actual review. Make sure it's 5 stars. We will read them on an episode sometime. Write whatever you want, and we'll get that out sometime. You guys gotta get that up to 100 5-star reviews, and I'll read them. So without further ado, here is our Risky Roads intro song.
Let's go big red.
Bird. Oh, I gotta post this with Jordy, man. Risky roads.
We're going to change the podcast to normal if we ever get the tournament win.
Get ready to change their name.
Guys, we are back, and we have our second guest episode. We have Joel on. Say hello, Joel.
Hi.
So let's, I guess, talk about the Oklahoma State game that went on Sunday. You guys just watched it. What do you think?
Look good.
Yeah, they're pretty solid.
Yeah, I think that was a pretty big win for us. Like, it was Oklahoma State's only, well, now they're 4-6, which seems pretty terrible. But with it being a neutral site game, they're actually still like 75 net rating. So that's actually, at least at this point, a quad 2 win, and they should be able to stay there because they play in the Big 12, and that's a really good conference. It's really easy to stay up there with that many good teams there. And they just got a 5-star transfer who just started playing yesterday and wasn't well integrated into their system, the one from Indiana, but hopefully he'll be able to come on and play really well for them late and get them RPI boost, which will help us, our net rating boost, since RPI doesn't exist. So, yeah, I mean, who played well for you guys yesterday?
Obviously Palmer, because he's a boss. He scored 29, But
Yeah, that's
they hit shots, though. Everybody was making shots for the most part.
In the second half, they were.
Yeah, that's true.
I think they shot pretty badly the first half.
And we finally shot good from free throw line. We
What,
shot
14 for 15?
No, we were 21 for 23.
Oh, holy cow. It must have been Palmer that was 14 for 15.
Yeah, but we've been shooting probably
Or maybe that was like...
seems like 70%. We've been shooting like 70%, it seems like, from free throw. Probably a little better than that, but
I think we're a little better. Let me check
but still,
that.
91% is crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So we got to the line more than them, and then everything else was pretty close to even, except for our 3-point percentage, which was also way better. So that helped.
Let's see. So we are overall shooting 74%. So you're right.
Yeah.
And our opponents are only shooting 68%. I don't know how that happens.
Well,
but
Oklahoma shot 53, so
yeah, they only shot 65% on the year, which was pretty obvious. It's almost like you were wondering how it wasn't worse because they had some terrible free throw shooting for them.
Oklahoma State was 2 for 15 from 3, which is
terrible. But at the end of the game, they were just checking up everything. They weren't even playing.
Wow, that's actually pretty
So are
impressive.
we, but Costello's just better than them?
Yeah,
His step back three almost hit the ceiling.
In the small arena, maybe. That's actually pretty impressive because they shoot, I think, 42% from 3 on the year. So they're pretty good at that. And that's just not even many shot attempts for a team that shoots that well. I don't know what their shot attempts normally is, but that's pretty low.
I feel like we played a lot more pressure defense today than we have in the past.
Well, I think that was because their ball handlers were pretty...
Yeah, they weren't that great. Like, Glenn was way up on their guy rise. He crossed half court.
Yeah. So, let's see. So, Palmer has had 29 and 30 in the last 2 games. So, he's averaging basically 30 points a game in the last 2. What's been the difference for him in these last 2 games?
Shots are going in instead of not
the ball
going
is
in.
going in the basket.
I mean, it really is. He's doing the same exact things, except he's just making shots instead of not making shots.
Like in our 2 losses, his 3-pointers were just he couldn't
before-
buy a bucket.
Before, like, the last 3 games, he was shooting, like, 20% from 3, and he was shooting, like, 10 a game.
Everything.
Now
was
he's
falling
shooting
last night.
60% from 3.
Yeah, even after
Shooting
these 2
10
games,
a
he's
game.
at 19.6 points per game, which is not
crazy.
like... I mean, that's pretty good, but it seems like it could be even higher.
Yeah, it'd probably be higher in a bit.
So, let's see. Who else played well? Roby did not play well.
No.
He had 4 steals though.
Really?
He played good defense. He had a few
Yeah, but
slots.
so did probably Thomas Allen, man.
Allen had 2, but yeah, the fast breaks were good.
Yeah, I mean, so I think the reason that
He had
Roby
7
struggled
rebounds.
in that game...
So it's-
Yeah, I think the reason he struggled offensively in that game is because they played the pressure defense where all their guys... It's similar to Texas Tech and a little different than Illinois, but all of their off-ball defenders stay on their man at the 3-point line. And so if he tries to dribble, they're close enough that they can just, like, swipe it away. Like, that actually happened
to him,
one time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I think he really struggled. He's good when he can kind of blow by the guy and go over the second help defender instead of just having them swipe at it from the perimeter.
Yeah.
And Copeland, did you pause it? No. Copeland played like his like normal points, like 16 or whatever. But Watson didn't really play that great either, like points wise. But Allen played a good game again.
Yeah, and Allen was
Really
let's
good
see,
game.
he was
He didn't
sick.
even start.
Yeah.
That's why he was sick, and then I think they said he had like the flu or something. I think something with he was throwing up, and he actually drove separately.
Yeah.
From
He
the
came
team.
up yesterday. He went up.
And
to
he
the
hadn't
game
practiced
on
all
Sunday.
week, they said.
Okay, so that's pretty impressive. He kind of came. How many points did he have? 14.
Yep.
After having 18 against
Yeah.
Creighton.
And
So I
he's
guess
super-
the guys who were
He's
good
been super efficient
continue
both
to be
times,
good.
both games too. 5 of 7 from the field and 2 of 3 from the 3-point line.
Yeah, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
A little less. I think the Creighton game was still better because he was so much more
Yeah.
aggressive and had some really good drives. But this one was a pretty good game, especially for being a little lower scoring. How much did we end up winning by? 23.
76.
Oh, that's how much. How many
No,
points
70
we had?
79, 56.
No, I was just.
Okay. Let's see. So then did Glenn play well? Or
He played all
were his
right.
stats good?
He didn't shoot very well, but
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't really
7,
matter.
4, and 1.
Okay, so that's
Whatever.
not great. Yeah. And then Roby not great. Copeland
Copeland was good. He was like efficient.
but man, we were watching. So the Minnesota game, like I think a lot of people thought it was just James Palmer having trouble, but Copeland was really not doing well helping. And in this game, like Copeland, there were a lot of times where I was just like, dude, you gotta like play defense there. Do
Yeah,
you guys think that?
He got beat like a few times, like backdoor.
Yeah, for sure. Just kind of like got lost on the play. And I think some of it's like, I don't know, just effort
He just gets bored.
every play.
Because he can score. He's like, just get me down there and give me a nice mid-range, you know. I'll make up for it.
Yeah, he did. Then he hit, what? Didn't he hit 2 threes in a row? Well, that...
No,
okay.
one of them was a 2, I think they said.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
because
well,
it
yeah, I
says
guess
here, but yeah.
at the end of
But he
that.
had the
Because that was
first
like
two.
right after one of his defensive lapses, and we're like, oh, okay, well, he did do pretty well. That was an interesting run to end the half. Man, they
That was
just
crazy.
hit. They hit basically 4 threes in a row, except one of them was like toe on the line.
Yeah, we were
Where they had
down
to change
7
it.
with 3 minutes 15.
It was an 11-2 run.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And then we ended up getting technical free throws because the coach got crazy mad. Honestly, that was such a terrible push-off call, though. Did you guys think that was terrible?
Yeah, I saw that.
I was like, I mean, there were some people who were
That was weak.
saying that, like, it wasn't, or that it was a foul, and I was just like, what in the, like...
I mean, like,
People do
maybe
that
if he was, like,
every
making a
time.
drive to, like, the hoop
Yeah,
or
or
something.
if he, like, pulled up and shot it, but he was just, like,
Yeah.
dribbling and had to get the guy off of him, which was crazy, but they called a lot of charges in that game.
Yeah, they did.
Charges shouldn't exist, but unfortunately they do.
Wrong.
That is not wrong. Charges should not exist. Go listen to my 4-minute rant on that, Joel,
No.
and you'll be convinced. So let's see, Nana. I mean, other than like Brady didn't score much, Tanner didn't score much. Did they play very much? Like even them,
Brady didn't play.
Brady
Brady
didn't
didn't
play
play
that
very
much.
much, but Tanner did.
Brady
Oh.
only played 4 minutes.
Roby was he was in foul trouble right away.
Yeah, so
He had to
Tanner
sit.
came in quite a bit.
Yeah,
right?
Tanner played 13.
Okay, but that's not even that much
It's
for
not that
Roby
much.
being in foul trouble. I think Copeland came in a lot,
Yeah, Copeland played 34.
which is kind of interesting with Amir being out. You'd think everybody would slide down.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that's who was missing.
And
Yeah.
that's
Was
the
he
other
sick
thing.
too?
So he has, I think they think he has mono. I don't know if there's been another update on it, but like he could be sick
That's
for a
why.
while.
That's why Thor played.
And that's why Thor played. Yeah. And that's
Thor played good though. Like, I mean, he had 2 assists in 4 minutes.
Yeah, he did seem like he did a good job of like driving and passing, and that was kind of like natural to him. He did that both times on that, and he didn't get like beat on defense or anything. So
Like, he
it was-
played for 4 minutes,
well, yeah,
and 2.5 of them were.
but still, I mean, you can get beat on
Yeah, that's
defense
true.
like 3 times in 4 minutes, so it's not too bad. And that's basically it. I think that's everybody. Any overall thoughts on the game?
We looked good
important?
again. I mean, I think we were passing better too. Like even at the end, like the second half, even though Palmer was like scoring at will, basically, like he was also like making nice passes and stuff.
Well, that was one thing that I thought too. Like
He had 5
Palmer,
assists,
Palmer
which
did
was
a really good job of passing that game, and it totally made a difference. Like that's why even the few points that Roby had, like that's where Roby can use it because
Yeah.
he can't do everything himself, and he's basically one of the few good passers on the team. Like nobody else passes well.
Everybody looked comfortable. Like it kind of was a home game because it was mostly Nebraska fans, but everybody just looked like no one was nervous. They all knew what they were doing.
Yeah,
Which is kind of crazy, like especially for like the Oklahoma State, like their defense is supposed to not make you, like it's supposed to try and really make
well,
you feel.
they didn't look
uncomfortable.
comfortable in the first half.
That's true, but yeah.
Somebody said, which I think is kind of true. So obviously you figure it out eventually, but they get apparently somebody said that their offensive system is like really tiring,
Who,
and then their
Nebraska's?
defensive system, no, Oklahoma State's, and
Oh,
then
so there you
both
go.
of them are just like really high intensity, and they
Yeah.
might have like worn themselves out, and you could kind of tell like they were not
Yeah, they wore
guarding in the
themselves out
same
'cause
way.
they bricked 2 dunks. One of them went in.
That's so funny.
Yeah, the one he tried to take out of the air, and he did not have his momentum right, so he just like totally fell. Yeah, so Palmer, good assist. Did anybody else have lots of assists, or I don't think so.
I mean, besides Thor had the second most
With 2,
with 2.
3 guys had
Wait.
2.
exactly.
Yeah, 3
we are
guys
not
had
a
2.
good passing team right now.
Yeah. Like, Watson should have more than 1 if he's playing point guard for 34 minutes out of a 40-minute game.
But I mean,
really
Palmer's gonna have the
struggles
ball
to-
more though.
But he struggles
But still-
to just get it inside. Like there's
Yeah.
so many times when
I mean, they were a short team too.